Hey, happy Monday. How you doing? How was your weekend? Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you had fun. Hope you stayed safe. Well, I heard a couple of disturbing things. I guess Jabba has to go through that 283 again. He's got to go through the whole thing. He's got a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong. He said, yeah, he's got something to do with oil. He's not getting any oil to the rockers or something. And he's got to tear the engine all apart all over again. Wow. What a shame. What a shame. Some things are beyond words. Words cannot describe how fucked up this guy is and how he knows shit about shit. Uh, Something else was interesting too. I heard more. I got an update on Sanford's retaliation video against Sandy while he was, he wasn't happy about, Sandy, kind of talking about how Sanford, walked away from the project and things didn't get done because he didn't want to participate. He pulled a hissy fit temper tantrum. Well, you're not doing it my way, so I don't want to be involved in it anymore. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home type shit. That's Sanford. Well, so it was kind of funny though. Like I said, it's funny. He's kicking into them, but he's like trying to be nice. It's like what they call a backhanded insult, a backhanded compliment, something like that. Maybe Sanford, don't want to piss off Sandy too much because let's face it, he ain't got too many friends left. He wants to say something, but he wants to make sure, Sandy, will you please stay my friend? Will you please still be my friend, even though I'm throwing you under a bus, Let's face it, man, he ain't got too many friends left. So, yeah. But then I hear, I got some new news on that. He also threw Luna under the bus on that video, too. For some reason, he said, hey, Brian, he dragged Luna into it, too. So I was actually surprised. So, with the collaboration building with Luna, we know what happened at Nick's, Well, it had nothing to do with me. When I got there, he had already started taking things apart, so I was looking at parts and I didn't know what he did with them. Come on, a fucking head's a head. A fucking crank's a crank, a block's a block, a valve's a valve, a rocker arm's a rocker arm. It was so fucking difficult, Mr. Mopar, you couldn't figure out what parts were what? He says, but man, he fucking blamed everything on Luna. It was all his fault. That's why it blew up on Nick Steiner. Yeah, and he walked away and left Luna holding the bag for $5,000 in expenses. It's quite costly to be shipping stuff over the border to Canada and things with weight, and all the expense that went into it with things, Sanford didn't ship in a fucking penny. Luna ate it big time for $5,000. Sanford walked away, as usual. I have to give credit where credit's due. I heard in this, this was very true. I heard, Big Wilbur felt so bad for Luna. Big Wilbur went in his own pocket, took out $2,000 and sent it to Luna to help him out, to help the guy out. Hey, I give credit where it's due. That was a very good thing you did, Wilbur. Not many guys would do that. But tell me something. At that point, when you saw Sanford do that to Luna, didn't that give you a fucking clue to what he's about? Shouldn't that have told you something right then and there to ever want to get involved with him, yourself? Thinking that something good would come out of it? Look what he did. He fucked you good with the No-Show Nationals. He played you like a fucking harp from hell. Didn't that Luna episode give anybody a clue? What's wrong with you fucking people? Sometimes I wonder how people can look at Sanford and see what he does to people, how he treats people, and still think he's a good guy. See all his failed projects, all his breakdowns too. He couldn't make, 2 consecutive passes with Baby Water Rock without something happening to the car. Same thing with Plan 9. The MC Hammer car still what's that thing, a fucking 14-second car? But he built the engine, but he'll blame Al. Al didn't drive it right. Doesn't matter who's behind the wheel. He did the same thing to my friend Lambchop with Baby Bottle Rocket. Yelled and screamed at him, belittled him on a fucking video. You didn't do the burnout right. You didn't shift it right. Then Sanford drives it. He runs the same fucking way. It was the car. It wasn't him, but he blamed him. You know? There's another guy, too. Who the fuck was it? That kid early on. He had a kid that was going there. One of his apprentices, you know. Sanford was going to share all his knowledge. And he had him helping out around there. I forget what the guy's name was. He was a young kid. You know. The kid went there on his own. Trying to help. I guess they had been doing something during the day on the car, something to do with a fuel line. The car was getting vapor lock or something like that. And Sam said, oh, because the fuel line was too close to the manifold or something, and the heat, you know, was causing vapor lock, and the fuel line was heating up the fuel too much. And the kid figured, hey, I'm going to go help. The kid went there. And he took the fuel line, and he just moved it up out of the way. And he secured it to a vacuum line, just to keep it out of the way. Didn't hurt anything. You know, a vacuum line's not going to interfere with any of the temperature of the fuel flow. And he took a piece of duct tape and he wrapped it around to secure it and hold it. How many of you remember that Sanford blew a fucking gasket? And he waited for the kid to be there. And he made a video. The kid's standing there thinking, hey, you know, I'm going to be on this video with Sanford. And then Sanford tore him a new fucking ass. So what's the matter with you? We don't use duct tape around it. He fucking tore that kid a new asshole and threw the kid out of his fucking shop. How many of you remember that? I had forgotten all about this. Somebody reminded me. This is what Sanford does to people. Any of you thinking you want to be Sanford's friend? That's what's going to happen to you. Eventually. Like I say, with Sanford and these guys, I don't have ESP. I've had people tell me, man, Brian, you talk about things and it ends up happening. It's never a question of if it'll happen. It's only a matter of when. This is what Sanford is. Don't you get it by now? This is what Jabba is. These guys don't get any better than what they are. They are what they are. This is as good as they get. What Sanford does with cars will never get any better. What Jabba does with cars will never get any better. This is what they are. Okay? So, yeah, poor Jabba, man, he's going to tear that engine all apart all over again. He's got oiling problems or something. Well, and I had heard too, you know, hey, Jabba, I heard too, I got to go tighten up the timing chain cover, it's leaking oil. Oh, I got to go tighten up the baseband, it's leaking oil. You had all kinds of oil leaks all over that fucking... When you put that together, you didn't fucking tighten everything properly. You didn't put fucking good gaskets and at least tighten things. Once it's together, everything's leaking like a fucking sieve. Now you got to go through the whole engine all over again. Well, I guess that'll keep you busy for 2024. Okay, listen. I got a lot to do this week. I got to make one more run yet with Kenny, get more 2x4s. That was only to get started. We got something like 80 of them. I'll tell you, I mean, that really, my fucking Acadia was... it's a good thing I got room with it. Put the seat down in the back. You know, all stacked up. It was almost up to the fucking ceiling. I could barely see out to the rear view mirror, you know. And it was sticking out in the back with the gate down. I was actually kind of worried, man, fucking cop stops me or something. What the fuck, man? You know, it wasn't any hazards sticking out too far. So I'm going to make one more run, get some more 2x4 sometime this week. I got to get up to G&G Holly on Wednesday. Help out Gilly and George again. Fixing up the floor in the work area. The showroom area is pretty good. The office is what we had to do some work. Replace a piece of drywall. It had a hole like this, but George put a guy's head through it. The guy came inside, some shit, George grabbed it, put his head through the fucking wall. So we already replaced that. Some painting and whatnot. And now the shop area floor. We did a lot of patchwork on the concrete and doing that painting with that paint that's got that texture to it. It feels like it's got sand in it. So your feet don't slip and it's impervious to petroleum, gas. It won't stain. You can clean it up, you know, any spillage. We'll finish that up. And I got my 2 days at the VTA, so I'm going to be a little busy this week. So I'll see you when I do. And I guess that's about all I can say. I'll see you when I do. Until then, have fun.